Loyalty never goes out of style. Times change, regions evolve, but the faithful never waver. 49ers fandom is passed down from one generation to the next.
On here, and whoever here wants to comment, you tell me how I'm supposed to react to a dude that is 23 with a Super Bowl caliber team and just he has not lost a regular season football game yet.
One thing you said though, Chris, if you feel like 0 touchdowns and over 200 yards is Brock Purdy's floor, are you satisfied with 2 TDs plus 200 yards a game his ceiling?
What's happening, faithful? Welcome to the Niners Lounge. I am Chris E. Francesco, and I am joined by Ron, Mav, Mike, and Drew. We have a fun show lined up for y'all this evening. If you're watching us on YouTube, please do us a solid and smash that like button and subscribe. We'll be pumping out 2 live episodes per week during the regular season and, of course, the playoffs. So it would be terrific if you all could subscribe and join us for the ride to the Super Bowl and beyond. If you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere else we show up, like, repost, share, and comment. We love when fans get involved with the show, so please, by all means, send us some questions, comments, concerns. Are you pissed about something that Mav probably said? Let us know about it. So, all that happy horse stuff, let us know about all it. So, lastly, huge shout out to Extra Cooler at Extra Cooler on Instagram. Nick Camia is his name, for creating our fresh, out of the box logo that you are all seeing everywhere now. We are in love with our new look, our present, our future. So much is coming down the line, and we will pass along all that info as it happens. Just fun times being part of this Niners Lounge right now. It's such an honor to be part of this with y'all. So let's get the kickoff here. Ron, what do we have first on the agenda this evening?
Yeah, absolutely, fellas. How's everybody's Wednesday going? What do we want to talk about first? I say we kick it off with some takeaways from week 3. Let me go ahead and put it right up here, and let's go ahead and kick us off. Who wants to get us started? I know I got takeaways. I watched a lot of football this weekend, which was good. I talked to you guys about it earlier. We've been texting, so I'm going to bounce it right back to you guys, and then I'll probably finish it because I know I want to talk about the QB position around the league, and then a couple of teams that I watched. So I'll bounce it back to Mav or Mike or anybody who had takeaways from anything they watched.
Can I start it off with the laugh of the week, though?
We'll let you go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get a big laugh at the Cowgirls.
Go ahead.
Because, boy, they took a loss that they just swore the best defense, swore the best team. We're putting up 40 on this team. We were so excited. We're doing this, the play. And then the Cardinals come and swoop in there. They seen red, got confused. They thought they was playing us and just lost it. And it just all changed. The confusion happened. Like, this was a game that they was supposed to win. Like, I mean, I think anybody around America was like, oh, the Cowboys taking this one easy. Especially after watching the Giants come back on them. And you're like, okay, well, they beat the Giants by 40. Giants did a comeback and won the game. Oh, my goodness, Cardinals can't be that team. And then you turn around and see Cardinals is that team. and Dak just turned to Dak at that time. Just watching Dak turn into Dak, we all been looking for it. The guy throws interceptions, make mistakes. This is the guy. Dak was himself. Yeah. The other games wasn't himself. This was just entertaining to see to me because it was just so high talk, and I was just so tired of it. And I was like, man, they're going to get exposed. I thought it was going to be by us, but hey, this is even better.
I tell you what, man. Yeah, when people call them the America's team, I'm like, yeah, you're damn right they are, because when they lose, man, America is so happy and they love it. And I love watching them lose. And you know what's funny is I have the unfortunate the unfortunate aspect of where I live is there's also many Cowboy fans around me. I have a few great friends who, so when we do crossover shows, probably next week with the Cowboys, I have a Cowboy show that I'll appearing on, and maybe they'll come on here. It's one of my best friends, and he's a huge Cowboys fan.
Mm-hmm.
And man, last week when they were doing their preview episode against the Cardinals, I think they predicted their scores like 40-13, 38-6. I was like, boy, man, like to underestimate the Cardinals that bad. And also to assume that your offense is that dominant. It's just typical, like Drew said. It's typical Cowboys lore. Everybody loves them. They're every time you watch any football show on like ESPN, it's Cowboys this, Cowboys that. And look, the Niners just continue to be better than all of them. So let them keep talking about the Cowboys. Let them. I can't wait. Look, I'm not looking ahead to next week, but it's really starting to creep up in the back of my brainstem that it's Cowboys week next week. But it's Cardinals first. Take care of business first. But yeah, I'm with you, Drew, man. It was so great watching them lose that game.
The funny surprise about this was Dobbs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many of y'all was surprised. I was surprised.
Very much so.
Yeah, for sure.
Where did this come from?
I don't know. That's what I wanted to talk. Yeah, I'm glad you brought.
Yeah, Joshua Dobbs.
Go ahead, Mav.
I think he froze. Yeah, Mav froze. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, so is it too much? I mean, am I overreacting? Because I know we talked about it last week. Were the Cowboys really that good? I think that's what Mav was trying to bring up last week. What did it say more about? Like the win over the Giants. Did it say more about the Cowboys, or did it say more about the Giants? And I try to point that out. I think it was more on the Giants because we got a different Giants team. And then if you really think about who the Cowboys beat, they beat the Giants week 1, who were completely unprepared. And I'm not going to take away credit. I mean, it sounds like I'm taking away credit, but then they played the Jets without Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was a lot of hype around the Cowboys. And I try to tell you guys before, I wasn't really too worried about them.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't worried about them. And we saw why. The question is, what happened? Is it Dak? Do the Cowboys have a QB problem?
It's a combo between Dak and what I've been saying all along, Mike McCarthy. The guy's calling is stale.
It's very stale. Yeah.
Without Kellen Moore, he's lost out there, and it's being exposed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke. Jerry should have gotten rid of him years ago. So as long as that guy's the head coach, Cowboys will be never threat. And then Dak, he's just so overrated.
He is.
He even after his presser, he blamed the media. No, the media didn't make you throw an interception in the red zone. He thinks the media got what they wanted. No, they didn't. The media bollocks this team like no other team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They want them to succeed. So Dak is just disconnected with what the reality is that's going on. So we'll see moving forward. But I don't. If they keep doing this, they may miss some playoffs.
Well, and it's crazy how Dak can even say anything, and it's not like he's had like this incredible season. Like if you look at what he did in the first game against the Giants, he was 13 of 24. He only completed 54% of his passes. Now I get it; the game was probably so far out of reach, but it had nothing to do with what he was doing. And then he had a really good game against the Jets. But then again, he comes back against the Cardinals, where you would think this would be the kind of game that a guy like Dak will show that, maybe that like week 2 against the Jets wasn't like a mirage. And he comes out, completes, 62% of his passes, throws a pick, gets sacked twice. His quarterback rating was a 78. It's like, dude, when it's time to step up, Dak just never can do it. He just doesn't do it. And
I got a question about that. Now, is being a Cowboy quarterback, is that stage too big for him?
No. I don't think it matters to these guys. I don't think it matters what uniform they're wearing.
You don't think? Okay, so
you don't think if that
him bringing that up at the press conference I mean, that's basically what he said.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys set the stage too big for us, and I'm glad you're happy we failed. Is that not what he said?
Yeah, but he's
Because
just
he blamed the media.
Oh yeah, he's just directing blame off of himself. He's one of those guys that can't. Jimmy Garoppolo did it all the time. Jimmy Garoppolo never blamed himself for anything. It was always we this, we that. Nah, man. Sometimes, a lot of times, you just sucked and you couldn't get it done under pressure. Dak Prescott's like, well, you know what? I'm on this stage.
Look at the stage. Look at the stage where Jimmy is at now. You're seeing who Jimmy truly is. He's no longer a 49er, so therefore he can't be. There's a lot of flaws that he has in him that cannot be hidden. Josh McDaniels don't know how to hide those flaws, so therefore you're gonna see them. They're gonna be exposed. Yeah. And if you look at Dak Prescott, if he's wearing any other uniform, we do not talk about Dak Prescott. If he's wearing any other uniform besides a Cowboy uniform, we're not talking Dak Prescott. Unless he's wearing a Bears uniform or something.
Right. Sure, but say he was on the Bears, you think he's performing better on the Bears, Mav?
No.
Not at all.
Thank you, Chris.
No.
Thank you,
No.
Chris.
No, not at all. That's why I said unless he's in a Bears uniform, then you're talking
about
him. So that's what I'm saying.
I'm glad Chris brought up Jimmy.
Any other uniform, you don't talk about him.
Yeah.
I'm glad Chris brought up Jimmy because that's probably where we should have headed next was the Raiders game. But we're going to stay on them because, in my opinion, the Cowboys and the Raiders have the same situation. That's probably why I'm not worried about the Cowboys. Is because I'm not worried about Dak. Dak just doesn't scare me at all. Their defense may be okay, but then you see they could have, they didn't have a great game. We can jump over to the Raiders game. I mean, are the Raiders in the same spot? How long before we see Aiden O'Connell start? Because Jimmy didn't look good either.
I agree. The Raiders are almost in the exact same position.
Yeah.
Crappy head coach, crappy quarterback.
I mean, just look at this situation now.
Short and simple.
You already got the wide receiver wanting to leave. Like, he's been there, this is his second year? And he loses card, and he starts this season off with Jimmy all of week 3, and he's already asking a trade request. That's embarrassment right there.
He hasn't asked for trade requests. Don't put that out there. That's just people.
Okay, the perspective or whatever's going on.
Right.
Either way, it's a sad look. Then you look at it as one of your top targets. One of your top targets of last year, which is Renfro. They looked at it in the stats. You had all these games. You've only thrown to him 4 times. Like, this is not even looking like the same Raiders. It's not working. You lose Waller.
Does anybody feel sorry for Devontae Adams, though, Drew?
I don't. He begged to go to the Raiders.
Exactly.
Don't cry now, bro.
He got the bag. He knows how the NFL works. He knows that at any second, his boy, Derek Carr, who it was, is going to leave, or anybody else can go anywhere. You probably get one chance in your career to beg to get traded somewhere and then go. One of the last teams I would have chosen would have been to go, hey, where do you want to go, Devontae? Man, I would love to go to the Raiders. Like, no, that's not what I'm doing. Like, he's arguably the 1 or 2 best receivers in football. Dude, if you have an open forum to go where you want, I don't care who your best friend at quarterback is. You want to go to a team that can win. So I don't know what's going to happen out there in Vegas, but you're right. I mean, that whole situation's awful. I can't believe they thought Jimmy Garoppolo would have been the answer there. I don't know what would have given them that impression that Jimmy ever been the solution over there.
I think they were looking at the McDaniels connection, but McDaniels is also not your.
He wore a 49ers uniform.
The only reason that guy is still a head coach of the Raiders is because they can't afford to go get another head coach.
Yeah, they really can't.
They're still paying Gruden. They fire McDaniels. They still got to pay him, and then you have to go pay a third coach.
Yeah,
they can't afford it. The Raiders are cash poor.
Yeah, and that's.
I think the Raiders got Devontae Adams really good. They sold him on the city. Look, man, brand new city, brand new stadium, brand new coach. Here's the bag. We're gonna build something here. You can be a part of it. he got there and he was like, yeah, this is not what they promised. So
Like,
time to
players,
get out of here.
they need to look more deeper into like ownership and just like get perspectives and be like, what's it really like here? These guys will tell you the truth.
For sure. I agree. It's going to be interesting in the next few weeks when they get to that trade deadline, what that team's going to do. Because I kind of agree with you guys. I think one of you said, how long is Jimmy the starter there? Man, you're talking. I don't think he's the starter in Vegas past week 10. I just don't. I don't see it.
Wow, that far out? That's the whole season. That's like basically giving up on the season.
Well,
I would like to see them start the kid sooner, you know?
Well, he's out this week
But-
with concussion, so
Yeah, he's going concussion protocol.
Jimmy is?
Yeah.
So he might not play Sunday. So if he doesn't play
He's
Sunday,
taking a week off. He's tired.
Well. He has a bad game. Guess what happens? Jimmy G is hurt. How many times, Mike? I told you. I know you've told me I have a tinfoil hat. You called me on a tinfoil hat before. Well.
Mhm.
Surprise.
Ricky leads the NFL in interceptions, doesn't he?
he does at 6.
Yes. 6.
6 interceptions in 3 games, so he's averaging 2 a game.
That's
That sounds about right. I figured that without us. I mean, think about it. Through the whole last year, you heard us say it. We've heard other podcasts and people say he gets bailed out. Now he doesn't have that type of receiver core. It's kind of looking like you're getting bailed out, especially when you're only throwing to one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But the thing is, you are right. You're right. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris. Finish that.
No,
and then
no,
we'll jump
I was
to one
gonna
more game that I want to. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, so I guess on that note, we'll tell Mav, we got our answer on Jimmy. It wasn't his situation. He's still a bad quarterback. I've seen enough. But I will give your kudos. Let's jump over to the next game we should probably talk about. The Dolphins scoring 70 points. Mav, go ahead and kick us off with that one.
I'm just saying. Mike loves to call them my team. I'm okay with that. But
you heard it here, folks. Came out as a Dolphins fan. Have at it.
But hold on now.
Okay.
Hey, hold on.
Let me just
now.
set the stage. Hold on. Let me just set the stage, okay? Last week we were on this show and we had score, predictions for the 49ers Giants game. And Mav predicted a 60-0 score against the Giants, and we all laughed at him. And he wondered why not. So then we all proceeded. Mav is a Dolphins fan. Okay. So we all proceeded to laugh and explain to him how that hasn't been done in 56 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then that very next Sunday, the Dolphins come out, and they put up 70 on the Broncos. So Mav, we're going to give you your kudos and your flowers and give you time to actually talk about it. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm just saying it was something beautiful. It's exactly what I was hoping the Niners would have done to the Giants Thursday night. Like, the backups was putting up points. They were putting up points. That's something that we should be doing if we are considered to be the top 3 best in the NFL. Am I right or wrong?
I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
So you're putting Miami on this big throne right now. What about the other 2 weeks? They weren't doing this for the first 2 weeks. They weren't blowing teams away. They almost lost to the Patriots. And who's the other team they played?
Say what now? They weren't blowing teams away.
They almost lost to the Patriots. It's a very close game. You're taking this week 3 and you're acting like they've been doing this for 3 weeks.
I mean, hold on. Don't you do that because don't you do that because you took week 1. You took week 1 and was all hyped up about it. Like I told you, listen, I'm gonna say this one more time. Matter of fact, I'll say all season long if anybody else hasn't heard me yet. I'm not celebrating any kind of win like we just won the Super Bowl. Last year was something different. It was exciting to jump into another fan's face talking trash about how sorry their teams are and how good our team is. We're going to the Super Bowl, and then we get derailed by a freaking injury.
And
The only number that matters to me this year is 6.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get to that number at the end of the year, and we're holding that silver or platinum, whatever you want to call it, piece of metal, hoisting it up in the air, but I would jump for joy.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would celebrate.
You're still holding
Because right now, every win, to me, honestly, I know we could win. I know we go in there. I know how good we look right now. I'm being honest. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to be a Vikings fan. Oh, we got Kirk Cousins. That's good enough. We're gonna win games every year, even if we don't make the playoff. Oh, we got Dak Prescott. We're guaranteed to make it to the playoff. Who else can I say? I mean, I don't want that. I want to be cheering for that 6. That's the only number that matters to me.
Okay, Mav, I got a question for you. After 3 weeks of football, don't judge us off 1 week. After 3 weeks of football, who looks like the better overall team, the Niners or Miami?
Listen, Miami has a octane offense right now. I will give them that. Defense do not look on par. We'll wait to see how Jalen Ramsey makes them look when he comes back. But overall, to answer your question, the 49ers.
Okay.
We look like the more complete team on all 3 phases.
And what happens to that win last week if they lose to the Bills this week? Is it forgotten?
What happened? What happens to that win, the 70-point?
Do people just forget about it and be like, oh, now they lost to the Bills?
I think it depends how the game goes.
Yeah.
Like if they lose in like a week 1 shootout like they did against the Chargers, like 36-34, I don't know. But I do think they will say, well, look what happens when the Dolphins play a formidable opponent. Like that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So
let's look at that matchup though. The Dolphins, for sure, can win in a shootout or even match you in a shootout if they don't win. And if I'm not mistaken, they're getting Jalen Waddle back. They have a running game, so they can open up the passing game easy. The defense, huh?
Bills have a defense.
Yeah, Bills are decent. They're in Buffalo.
I mean, you look at Buffalo. Buffalo don't have a backfield. The whole game is going to be on Josh Allen's back.
Who don't have a backfield?
Buffalo.
Who is this game more important for?
They have the second leading rusher in the league. Don't they third?
Third. And they don't got no backfield, man.
Cook is third. Cook is the third. He's behind Swift.
Mm-hmm. They don't have a run game, bro.
Mav, you're the one that was third. Hold on, Mav was the one defending Miami's run game last year when they had the worst run game in the league.
Okay, well, on that note, Chris, where do you want to go next? Because this is not a Dolphins show. I just wanted to give you kudos, but let's go ahead and bounce to the next topic since we went around the league before Mav gets too crazy.
Yeah, the Bills have the 7th most rushing yards in football. So yeah, let's kind of the biggest news that come out of 49ers world over the last couple days. One, Debo's still not practicing, so that's kind of. I mean, I'm not worried yet, but he's still not practicing. Like he's not even on the field.
Now they're saying there's a knee thing.
Okay. Well,
he's also bugging. But
he looked good coming back into the game. I mean, he went down, then he came back, and he still looked good. So I don't know what's going on, but
he probably ended up pushing himself too hard.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well,
I mean, Chris has been talking about their usage, so.
I'm going to talk about it every week because it's nonstop, man.
Yeah.
If it's not CMC, it's Debo, and Debo's the kind of guy where that body takes a lot of hard hits.
That's another thing that gets me with Kyle. Like he acts like no one else is on the team.
He's a creature of habit. If something is working, he will hammer it down. But look, as a fan, look, whatever gets me to 6 points, whatever gets me that win. But still, in the back of your head, when we do something like this, or you think about, an 18-week or a 17-game season, it's like, dang, man, like, let's not have Debo and CMC getting the ball every other play. Like, you have other weapons. Like, this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint right now. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But we still have a few more days. If he doesn't practice on Friday, then I'm going to be a little bit worried. So we have 2 more days here to see what happens. But like, he didn't even do like a walkthrough, which kind of worries me a little bit. But I know Ayuk, he was limited in practice, so that he should be ready to go by Sunday. The other big thing in terms of the Niners, guys, was the John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan got extensions. I believe they were both contracted through the 2025 season, right? So to get
one was 24, one was 25. I think Kyle through 25, Lynch is through 24.
Right, and you are correct. So let me just ask you guys. Look, the timing is perfect. You're coming off a 3-0 start. Your team is probably the best team in the league. Why not just come right out and say, yeah, these guys aren't going away for a while. I know it's something that's been talked about over the last year is, when is John Lynch going to go back to the TV booth? Because $15 to $18 million a year to work 1 day a week is a heck of a less stressful than what he does now. But, Mike, I'll go to you for this. I mean, he seems to really love what he's doing. I think he and Kyle are really in sync with each other. And what are your thoughts on this duo staying around significantly longer, it looks?
I think it just shows confidence from Jed.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's got. And you look at it this way. Any other duo, the whole Trey Lance thing would have got them fired.
Mm-hmm.
But they find a way. And they find a way on the field. The decisions that are made, I know we all don't always agree, but you can't argue the results.
Mm-hmm.
The team has been competitive for years. And with this extension, they're going to continue to be competitive.
Yeah.
And we're going to find ways, and we're going to see multiple Super Bowls under this regime. I feel it.
And I agree. And it's crazy to think, Shanahan did say that these extensions were done before the season started. I'm not sure why it took so long for that news to get out, but nonetheless, I do think it's a great thing, and if you asked every player, to a man, they will 100% back their head coach. They all love John Lynch. So this is a family, man. Like, this organization is a family right now. And I love that aspect. They missed mightily with Trey Lance. They picked it up, they threw it behind their back, and they said, let's move forward and let's do what we have to do. And they're doing that. And, this is a team that's championship window is wide open right now. And I think what this extension shows us is that the organization above Shanahan and Lynch is very confident that there's going to be some Lombardi trophies here within the next couple years. Ron, are you as confident as the 49ers brass with Lynch and Shanahan moving forward for a significant amount of time now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you really think about, the amount of success that they've had since they've come on, there's a lot to be excited about. I think it's unfair that they get criticized for not holding the trophy yet. And, in a way, rightfully so. But there's so much that these guys have done to change even the game. Positionless football. Let's talk about some of the successes they've had that have warranted this contract. The positionless football, how everybody copycats everything that they seem to be doing. Their homegrown all-pro talent. That is insane.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
A lot of people can talk to their misses early in the first rounds, Trey Lance. How about we talk about the amount of all pros that are homegrown? The percentage of players on this roster that were drafted by these two guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, I'm excited. And look, I was not a Kyle Shanahan fan in the beginning. I was not. I could not stand the fucking dude. Excuse my language. I thought he was arrogant. I thought he walked around like he was Bill Belichick. Ask the guys. I couldn't stand him. But then, and I had questions. I had questions about his leadership, about his arrogance, his stubbornness. And, we would come on here and talk about it. But no. Look, dude. I'm a Shanny stan now, man. Like he's won me over. I'm just gonna be honest. I sit there and I'm a Shanny stan because just watching the dude operate now, I'm like, you know what? This guy's a pretty good freaking coach. Man, he's a really good mind. At the beginning of our video there, you saw Bill Walsh, and then you see Shanny, and I think that's the perfect reflection of what I see Kyle Shanahan's capabilities is to be that next great. And I think it's just a matter of time.
Ron, you also brought up a good point. You brought up Belichick. One thing that Shanny has over Belichick is his coaching tree. Look at the amount of coaches that have been under him that have gone to success.
Good point.
Belichick, you can't say that. His guys go off and they fail.
Yeah.
Shanny, his branches are touching almost every team in this league at this point. When it comes to taking the offense, and the scheme and everything, it's just it's great things to see.
Yeah, he's reached like that Andy Reid level in terms of that branch of coaching in the league. There's so many people around the NFL that came from under that Andy Reid coaching tree, and I think Shanahan. I mean, I think he's even at the point where he's above Andy, because guys are leaving the Niners under Shanahan and they're becoming, not just head coaches, they're becoming general managers, or they're becoming, head coaches. He's developing men to succeed elsewhere at all levels of an organization. And that speaks wonders. And I think that's also why I think a guy like John Lynch still wants to be around this team every day instead of going back to that cushion job calling football games. I think Lynch loves the fire aspect of this organization, this team. Like, just look after a win with like 5 minutes left and you see Lynch on the sidelines. I mean, that dude is headbutting guys. Because he's one of them. He's a Super Bowl winner. Like, he's one of these dudes. And Shanahan is another one. It's just, Fred Warner said it. He goes, this is a guy in Shanahan who we will go to war with against anyone in any situation, because he's real. He's as real as it gets, and we appreciate and we relate to that. And I think like I said, to a man, they're going to come out and they're going to defend their guys, and that's what I love about this coaching tree. Is it's almost like whoever Shanahan brings on, whether it's Coach Wilkes, Mav, or anyone else like a D'Amico Ryans, he puts them in that position. I'm going to trust whoever this guy puts in that position. Just look at the job Brian Greasy's doing, a guy who does not get mentioned. But gosh, man, every time they show the camera on the sidelines of Brock Purdy, Greasy's right there going over film with him. Like, I just feel like they're like Chick-fil-A. They are a well-oiled machine, and it's like nothing goes wrong, inside those doors. And that's just how I feel. I'm a big Shanahan guy. I'm a big Lynch fan, and I'm really happy that these guys are going to be around for a while. I would like to know how long the extension is, but I guess
I got a question though.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
I do have a question. based on the extension. What happens to Adam Peters?
I think this is going to sound bad, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful. Who cares at this point? I mean, he's not going to. He really doesn't have any contribution. I mean, moving forward, right? I mean, look, what he is doing. He hasn't said a word, which is smart. Like his agent's a very smart guy. I think he's going to be a very, very highly, interviewed guy in the offseason. He's going to be somewhere else.
And he has been. He has been, guys. Let's not forget. He's interviewed year after year, and he's not been able to land a GM position.
Yeah.
Well,
either he doesn't interview well, or I don't know what his problem is. But he can't.
Well, the last year it was based on him turning down those jobs.
That's what I was going to say. And if this deal was done in the offseason like they claim,
Mm-hmm.
he stuck around. He didn't take the job.
Yeah.
He interviewed for the Giants GM job, I think, the year prior.
I'm sure he's
I don't know
happy
if it
he
was
didn't
last
take
year or the
that
year
job.
prior. And and he didn't get it. Yeah, he didn't get it.
No,
and I thought it was
down.
for sure.
No, he turned it down.
Well, that's going to be an interesting thing in the offseason is where he goes, because I'm sure he looks at the team now. I mean, unfortunately for him, it's a dead end, I guess, right? I mean, he's not. If Lynch is really going to be staying around for 2, 3, 4 more years, is he just going to sit there and wait again?
He might have known about this, and he just might have thought this is the last year to try and get that ring.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that could be it. Yeah. That's a good point, Mike. And I really do think maybe that the organization appreciates him so much. They're probably going to help him. They're going to probably be an ally for him to get a job. I think they're going to push other teams to hire him, or at least, give him a bunch of interviews. So and the way this league shakes out, who knows? He could end up anywhere. And there's going to be a lot of positions open at the end of this season, I feel, especially in the Jets organization. So, because I don't know.
Is there anybody on this cast that feels like maybe it was premature? Are there any questions that we have? Because we can't all agree. And I definitely know. Let's talk about it here, because we were trying to blow things up. So, are you good with the extension? Because what we were talking about prior is out the window. He's got an extension. We're not blowing anything up. Are you on board still, or are you still waiting to see?
It's still like Super Bowl or bust for me, but it's to the point to where like I can't be against the extension for the simple fact that they're probably looking at it like everybody else is looking at it. Who are you going to hire? Who can replace this guy with what he's done? I mean, yeah, I hear it, I get it, but before he built this empire that we now call it Niners Nation, we didn't know what he was going to give us when he took that job. So I can't do nothing but be okay with the extension.
Who are you, and what have you done with Mav?
I'm just being honest. I give you honesty. Drew, you just don't like my honesty sometimes. That's all.
Drew, what say you?
Man, look, I when it happened, I was shocked because I thought maybe we'd at least wait till the season, see what happened. But then at the same time, I was thinking like exactly what Mav said. Like, we wait till the end of the season, whether he makes Super Bowl or not. It's like, what other coach do you pick up? So you give that up, but then you're like, okay, now we got to go coach searching. And we've seen how other teams are working with these coach searches, and it's not successful. So at the same time, you got to extend this man. You look at the work that he's done for us, what he's done since he's been here, whether, okay, you make it all the way to the Super Bowl, but it's always a bust. We're making it past all the other teams that's not making it. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, is that we're beating these teams out. So the fact that he's getting there, and maybe we get to the Super Bowl. We can get to the Super Bowl 5, 10 times and maybe not make it, but it's something that he's doing that's still beating these guys out to get to the championship game. Now we're just looking for him to finish. Who knows? Maybe this signing was a push. Like, hey, we paid you, we got you. This is your year. You got all the key pieces. This is your push. Prove everybody now.
Oh, real quick, can I give flowers to a ex-49ers head coach for going undefeated with his team this year or last year? I think it is. Yeah. Jim Tom Sula is coaching overseas in the Euro League, and he actually took the Rainfires to a 14-0 season.
Very nice. Good for him.
So, kudos to you, Jim. That's probably where you belong. Maybe you might come to college and see if you can update or upgrade your coaching thing. But I mean, it's sad to see a coach get thrust into the fire and not panned out and get and have a label put on you, then go somewhere else and shine. I mean, like, hell, Chip Kelly's even doing well over there at UCLA. But then
Chip Kelly can kiss my ass. God, he's a trash. He sucks. He is so awful. Look, I had to deal with that idiot in San Francisco. Then I had to listen to that dumbass every day around here in Philadelphia. Boy, you talk about the ultimate egomaniac with no skill or talent whatsoever. Like, congrats, dude. You were good in the Pac-10. Yeah, congrats, idiot. Like, I can't stand
Brian Kelly's right on that damn list too. You talking about egomaniac? Brian Kelly's right there, right along with him. The Kelly brothers.
Chip Kelly blew this team up. He blew this organization up. He sold the Niners such a massive bag of goods, and that was awful. He handed the entire organization an envelope, and it was full of anthrax, and he blew the entire team.
Damn.
That's crazy too, though, right? Like,
can't stand Chip Kelly.
How do we go from Chip Kelly to Tom Sula to Shanahan? What happened there? Did Jed York's parents step in? Because how he landed Shanahan is like,
"Here's Shanahan, enjoy." You guys have dealt with crap long enough.
Come on, let's not forget. I want winners. Let's not forget that one.
Yeah, if you guys want to get me riled up, just bring up Chip Kelly. I can't stand.
Jeez, now we know trigger words for Chris.
I could see Mike like hating Chip Kelly to the 10th degree as well.
From now on, the key word is going to be a chip off the old block.
Yeah, well, you're fired, man.
What we got next?
All right, let's go. What do we want to talk about next? So let's go ahead and do. Go ahead, Chris.
Let's talk about the game.
You run it.
No, it's all good. I mean, we're about 42 minutes in. Let's kind of get to one of the reasons that we're here, and that's week 4, man. 49ers at home, the second of the 3-game homestand here against the Arizona Cardinals, coming off a huge win. Look, I can't sit here and if somebody asks me, what are you concerned about with the Cardinals? I can't honestly come here and tell you I'm concerned about anything. The only thing I will say is this is a Cardinals team that does not pack it in. They're not scared of anybody. They're going to come in and play every team as hard as humanly possible. So I expect another week where the Cardinals or where a defense is built to come at Brock Purdy. To get him to release the ball a little bit quicker. But look, at the end of the day, guys, I'm not going to come on here and predict a blowout or a 70-20 type game, but I still have this team like I almost do every week. I think this is going to be another double-digit win. And this just carries on to what I said in week 1 is I think the season really picks up next Sunday night against the Cowboys. I'm not saying the Cowboys are great, but to me, it's the first real test of this season are the Dallas Cowboys. So this Cardinals team doesn't throw anything at me in terms of, hey, let's be worried about this. But I still see a double-digit Niners win. What do you guys think?
I agree. I'm going to throw out my score prediction right now, 37-10.
Oh, God.
This team doesn't scare me. I'm sorry.
No, they don't. I agree.
They caught the Cowboys off guard, but the Cowboys aren't the Niners. Our defense. You remember Daniel Jones's eyes seeing our defense?
Oh, that was hilarious. Yeah.
I still have that picture.
Dobbs is.
Hey, I love that picture.
Mike, stop being too damn nice, bro. You're being too nice about the Cowboys. They ain't catch them off guard. The Cowboys flat out was not playing. They weren't ready.
I'll talk my Cowboy shit next week.
The Cowboys flat out. Listen, the Cowboys flat out underestimated the Cardinals because everybody talked about them tanking. Oh, they're in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. I've said it week 1, I've said it week 2, and I've said it week 3, and I'm going to say it week 4. Are we for sure that's a team that's tanking? Or are they really playing their best football right now, whether they win or lose?
You want to see a tank job, just go watch the Chicago Bears, man.
I think
but see, check this out, though. My only concern for this week is that we go and underestimate them.
We're not going to. And that's where I want to thank the Cowboys. Because the Cowboys did that, and it showed us you can't do that. We'll go
exactly
fight hard, and we're going to punch them in the mouth.
Yeah.
The one stat that I love about this game is they're one of the worst teams at tackling.
Yes, they are.
They miss a lot of tackles. And what are we really good at?
Right.
The Yak Bros are gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was about to get to. I was about to get to that because coming into this game, I don't know if y'all seen it today, but I seen the post of we have 0 drops this year.
Correct.
That is a crazy stat.
Mm-hmm.
We have 0 drops.
Is that a real stat?
It is a real stat. They have no. Yeah.
I had to look it up. That is a real stat. We have no drops.
Christian McCaffrey, that wasn't a drop against the Giants.
I guess they didn't mark it as one.
Okay, I would have that, but
yeah.
Even if Mike, you're gonna count 1 drop. Come on, Mike, whose side you on?
Yeah, you're gonna count 1 drop.
But you look at that, and as Mike just said, we have the team for a team that can't tackle. That's going to look embarrassing. Let alone, even though we all thought maybe they was going to switch up last week with so much load on Christian McCaffrey, I don't think it's going to switch this week, definitely, because they can give him a load, but is it really going to work him if you can't even grab him? This is about to kind of be embarrassing. So I'm going to go on Mike's take, but I give them a little edge because, as Mav said, they are fighting, and I'm going to go 35-17.
So
okay, check this out, right?
We have been in 30 points each game, so I'm definitely not going under that right now.
I agree. Now, let me just throw one little caveat out there. I just want to play devil's advocate a little bit. Does any of this change if Debo's not in the lineup?
No, because Ayuk will be back in, so it's pretty much just swapping them.
Okay.
We still got the studs out there, so if Ayuk's in and Debo's out, I'm still confident.
Okay.
Okay, so we already know what we can do. Now, here's a reverse question. How do the Cardinals stop Christian McCaffrey?
They don't.
I just told you that. They don't.
They don't.
No. Be for real though. I mean, there's always a game plan. Even if they won't, there's always a game plan for any player on that field. So I'm asking, if you were the Cardinals, what is your game plan for Christian McCaffrey?
Okay.
How do you stop him?
Don't let him beat you beyond 10, 15 yards.
You look at the last 2 games, you look at the Cardinals versus the Giants and the Cardinals versus the Cowboys. Who literally has a running back that looks like McCaffrey right now?
Giants.
DeAndre Swift.
Giants don't.
The Eagles.
I'm talking about the teams they played. They
I'm sorry.
a running back as the sort. So when he gets out there and he shows something different and you're already doing poor with tackling, and we understand you're going to try to make your focus on trying to stop the run because that's what it looks like right now. You have Ayuk, you have Kittle, and you have possible Debo. What defense do they have that's really going to stop this team?
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that's going to be their game plan to stop the run?
We would have to go in there underestimating them for this to lose this game.
Yeah.
And Cowboys kind of messed that up, as Mike said. This is going to be like they're already going to look at it like, okay, we see that they're hungry. They want to upset teams like us. I don't see it as a competition really too much.
Mm-hmm. Do you realize that this could easily been an undefeated matchup? The Cardinals could have won week 1.
Here we go with Mavs.
Ended up losing. No, I'm serious. Think about it. They could have won. They could have won week 1. They came back.
You can't.
The Giants came. They were beating the Giants. The Giants had to come back and beat them, and they actually beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
That's
the Cardinals
right there. You let the Cardinals come back.
Yeah, the Cardinals were expected to be one of the worst teams in the league, but they've actually been within 1 possession or, from winning every game they've played. So, I mean, other than obviously winning against the Cowboys, but none of those teams are the 49ers, man. Like the Niners just don't stop. Like they don't stop. They do not take the foot off that gas pedal. This is different than the team that they were most of the time for the first half of last season. Once they got McCaffrey last year, they learned Shanahan. I mean, God, we even saw Shanahan go for it on 4th down this year. Like they've learned to put those cleats on their throats, man. Like they don't stop. That's why we get so upset. Like, why is Christian McCaffrey out there up 18 points in the 4th quarter? Because they're not playing around, man. They're just, look, I hate predicting complete blowouts, but I really do in my heart of hearts, I'll be honest with you guys. I really think that this can be one of those, 43-9 type games, 43-13.
Wow.
And
I mean,
It's jumping on the wagon.
Like, you're giving this Niners team 10 days off, like, to rest and to prepare for the Cardinals. Like, that, that's you're almost asking for it there. And you can see some, they're not going to do what the Giants did. They're not going to blitz 85% of the time. So you're going to give Purdy a little bit more time in there to settle in and throw the ball, or you're going to let a guy like Christian McCaffrey again. Like, I can see Christian McCaffrey getting, 15 carries for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, I hate saying this, but like this is almost like a Madden team on rookie. Like, it's what they're able to do on the field. And I agree with you, Mike. Like, you kind of made me change my mind. Like, if I don't have anything to worry about with the Cardinals, why am I thinking this is anything less than a 14 to 20 point win?
And the statement they make by going out there and blowing this team away to the rivals that you're playing next week.
Great point.
Like, let's make the statement going, okay, you guys lost this team. We destroyed them. You're next.
Yep. We'll see you on primetime next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next
Mind
time.
games.
I cannot wait to be at that game.
Oh, so jealous of you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pack myself in a suitcase and just show up at your doorstep in like 2 days and be like, let's go. I'm going.
For real.
All right. So, Ron, what was your prediction?
I honestly, I think we're selling the cards a little bit short, fellas. I really do. But then I'm back and forth because I'm listening to you guys all make great points.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris talking about, 10 days of preparation for the 49ers. I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. The one point I will agree with is the Cardinals don't look like a team that's tanking. They really don't.
No.
They're not a good football team.
Yeah.
But I think they're playing really hard for that coach. So I had questions on Gannon. Chris, you're probably more familiar with him since he's in the Philly area about him being a great coach. But he has those boys playing. So
he does.
I don't know. He has them playing pretty well.
What I'm worried about is, and I'm sorry I cut you off, and you can give us
your
prediction in a couple seconds. That I just saw something that is kind of worrying me a little bit. No, maybe not. But so far, the Niners are 14-point favorites on Sunday. The Cardinals this year are 3-0 against the spread. So, I'm just saying.
All their games have been one possession games, except for last week. They actually got to double digits.
Mm-hmm.
But they still have to get to play us.
43-13. Still staying.
They're covering. 7-10. So
I agree.
So, Ron, what do you see the score being? Like 17-13?
I think, no way. No, come on now. I still see a big gap. I know. Yeah, 14 points seems reasonable. I'm going to stick to my usual 35-10.
Okay.
Because that's just that's what it seems to be. But yeah, I think we'll win comfortably.
Mav?
I'm gonna say
Mav is gonna be like Dolphins win 41-10.
Now I'm gonna say 40, but I do believe the Cardinals put up 20 points.
No, it's still a 20-point win. Heck, I'll take a 20-point win. I mean, I guess you're maybe some mop-up points at the end, but 40-20. Hey, this team scores 40. God,
if the Cardinals, okay, this question here: who has the better defense, the Giants or the Cardinals, or who has the more athletic defense?
I mean, the bar's not that high there, but I mean,
it's not.
I'm gonna say the Cardinals are a little bit better. I mean, they have a defensive coordinator as a coach.
The only reason I'm asking is because
the Cowboys' line looked really bad.
Yeah, the Cowboys' line looked bad.
The Cowboys had like 2 starters down on their line.
They did. 2 one of them an all-pro. So I mean, it's
because I know the Cards D-line defensive front is not that good.
Yeah.
This team,
and I think we're gonna run all over them.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me if we shut them out.
That would be.
Go ahead, man. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I mean, no, you good. No, you good. Because I'm just thinking if that line is not better than the Giants line, then I don't see them doing the same thing the Giants doing. I mean, I don't see them blitzing Purdy. So, and if we are serious about the Cardinals being that terrible, I'm expecting that 40 this week. Well, I'm expecting that 40 in the next game, I should say.
Okay, well, the Cards.
Yeah. Drew, what's your prediction?
Oh, I got 35-17.
Perfect. All right. All right, cool. So look, 4-0. I'll take it. Let's go. God,
I agree.
Can't wait for that Cowboys game. All right, so before we get out of here, we have quite a few new subscribers since yesterday. So we have a lot of new faces that are popping up on this show. So again, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, smash that like button, hit subscribe, help us out. Let's keep growing this thing as much as we possibly can. So I kind of want to ask everybody here, because except for Ron, not many of you guys know me or know my story, which is pretty cool, I guess. I kind of want to go around and ask you all here, when and how did you become a 49ers fan? So I'm going to start with you, Ron. Go ahead.
So look, my earliest memory of being a 49er fan, keep it in mind, I was born into a Niner family. My older brothers, my cousins, my uncles are from the Bay, or we're from Arizona. But anyways, I'm going to go back to my earliest memory. And I think it was 1988, I want to say. And I want to say it was early, maybe September. I was 4. The earliest memory that I have, we were playing the Giants and we were down. And I think it was just a tough game, dude. And Joe Montana hits Jerry Rice. I think it was on a 78-yard touchdown pass, and we win. And after that, I just freaking fell in love. I was just like, man.
Yep. I
watched that whole game. I was 4 years old. I still didn't I was trying to grasp, what was going on. But I remember that. I still remember that play. Jerry Rice, 70-yard touchdown pass.
At the Meadowlands, right?
I know my family. Yeah, and I know my family was, they were all watching it. Yeah, my family, they were watching it, my brothers and all that. But again, I'm 4 years old. That's the first memory of me actually paying attention and watching football and cheering on a football team, and it was the Niners. So it was Jerry. Cool. Jerry made me fall in love with football. Yeah,
I remember that, man. It was I think it was week 2 against the Giants in the Meadowlands. It was a ball down the side of down the sideline. He caught the ball like 30 yards out, and then he ran another 48. So I think it was like a 78-yard touchdown that gave them the 20-17 win.
And it was a go-ahead touchdown, and we freaking won, dude. I think we won 20-17 that game.
20-17. Yep. Spectacular.
Yep.
Mike, if can't tell that you're a Niners fan, but let us know, please, how that all happened.
So, I've actually been alive for every Super Bowl win. The first one I was
lucky.
I didn't even get to pay attention to that one, but the first sports figure I ever connected with as a kid was Joe Montana. That guy not only did something for that team, he did something for that city.
Yep.
If people don't really know the history of San Francisco, that place was down in the dumps, and they're kind of back that way, but don't need to get into that. But when that guy started winning games and they won Super Bowls, that city came alive. So growing up, we would go up north every summer. I'm from SoCal, still live in SoCal. So our summer vacations were just driving over the coast. My dad loves the coast. We just make the whole trek up all the way up to Lake Tahoe and back. So we just connected with the Niners. At the time, my dad was a Niners fan, so bonded with him over that. He's now a Raiders fan. He moved on to another team, so that was disappointing. But
what? Talk to us about that. How'd that happen, dude?
I have no idea. I don't even want to ask him about it.
Come on, man. All right, well, sorry.
Carry on. This is my team, and my first piece of sports memorabilia ever was before Costco was Costco. It used to be Price Club. And we were walking the aisles of Price Club, and they had a little plaque. It had Joe Montana's picture and something else on it. And I was like, "Can I please have this?" And my dad bought it for me, and it's been Niners ever since. So as you can see behind me, I've got more, Montana jersey. I've actually this last game I made a new purchase that will be here shortly, and it will be on the wall, but we'll reveal that shortly. But I just love it. now I'm a season ticket holder, and let's go.
My
Mike.
man.
Yes,
Mike,
sir.
speaking of that, you said on the next show you was going to tell us. I got to know. Because I went and looked it up myself, and I was like, if Mike paid this price, his wife has choked this man every night since he's been back from the game.
How much was it? How much was it, Mike?
Tell that offline.
Please don't tell us over. Yeah, please don't tell us all. No incriminating evidence on the show, please.
That's funny.
No, damn man, he wanted me to incriminate myself tonight. Go ahead, Mike. We want to hear.
You know, you're Mav. This is expected every show now.
Bet.
I won't do it to you, but I'll let them do it. Drew, how about you, man?
Oh man, they've heard my story 100 times, but I'll tell it to you. See, me growing up from Ohio, I had a dad who was a Pittsburgh fan, big time. I mean, it's sickening. It's sad. And then I had a mom who was a Browns, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick between both of them growing up, getting into football. Watch the Pittsburgh. I remember watching a Pittsburgh game with my dad I'm at his house watching the game. The game comes after. It's a 49ers game. Steve Young, first running quarterback. It was something amazing that I seen because every quarterback I seen up to that point was just pocket passes. So it was like, okay, it's fun to watch, but these guys are kind of boring. I seen this guy run like a running back, do shakes. Then I'm watching him throw, and it's like crazy just watching this guy. It's like amazing, a sight to see. And then you start watching more. I started knowing the other players. We got Ronnie Lott, we got Jerry Rice, Ricky Waters. I'm like, oh man, this is a team to watch. My dad's like, why? I'm like, okay, start watching more. Got my mom to buy me a Jerry Rice jersey, and I had the print on, so I wore that mug to the 8 fell off, and it was just it said ice and zero. I was like, who's ice and zero? Listen, it was Jerry. Don't worry about it. And it was like awesome. History from there. Like I watched all the games, started just getting into it more and more. Like each year I had a whole card book collection. And I mean, from the greatest players to bench players. I mean, it didn't matter who it was. Like I used to become fans of players that people didn't like too much. But it was something that I did because I'm like, I'm just a fan. So I'm like, I was so excited one day, right? I got this special card that had the little glitz around it, but it was a Drunken Miller card. My dad was like, he doesn't do nothing. I don't care. But I was excited by it.
That's cool. When you're talking about the glitter all around, that reminds me of back in the day when Black Diamond was like one of the top things you could buy for football cards back then. They used to have all that glitter around, but my dad would never get me a pack because it was like $6 a pack. I'm like, oh, great. I'll just go get this.
I grew up in a house of card collectors.
Hey, so glitter.
Lucky.
Yeah. My dad will go get me a pack of Victory for $1.
We used to go down to a flea market and they had a whole card stand.
Yeah.
And this guy, he would go from you can buy packs to single cards. And they come on, the little plaques, and they had the gold plaque with the name on it.
Of course.
And I had so many of them. It's crazy. Like I lost half of them, or most of them. And it sucks because now I'm like, I wish I can get them back.
For sure.
And I had like literally a big book of it. So I was always a fan since then. And
that's
just
awesome.
Watching players by players. And then it's like I fell out for a little bit. Like I just fell out of football for a while, NFL. Came back around. Kaepernick was there. It's like, all right, this guy's all right. Didn't really know who he was at first. I was like, hey, all right. Then I was been back in it heavy since.
That's phenomenal, man. All right, Mav, I've been waiting for this one all night. So how about you, man?
Well,
is this topic specifically for Mav? I feel like this topic specifically for Mav.
It is, but okay, see, since I've met these guys here on this panel,
this is a setup.
I feel like my story has to change a little bit to explain to actually fit in a couple more teams.
Okay.
So, let me first start off by saying that being a Dolphin, me liking the Dolphins and stuff, it was kind of forced on me. I didn't become a football fan until I was 9 years old. I started learning the game, and the area where I live down south in Immokalee is not that far away from Miami. So everything was Dolphins, Hurricanes, Dolphins, Hurricanes. It wasn't until I moved to Tampa in '94 that, quick fact, fun fact, that my favorite color is red. So it just so happened that two red teams from college in the pros end up winning championship that year. That's how I became a Florida State fan and a 49ers fan. It's just that easy, just that simple. When I moved to Tampa, I was exposed to more games, to more teams. And my cousins, I used to live right across the street from them. So I used to always go to their house because they had like the newest systems. Favorite game, Super Tecmo Bowl. I go ahead and pick the Niners. I run that rock with Roger Craig like it's nobody's business. I'm tossing to John Taylor. That's how I ended up learning about who he was. And I mean, I just fell in love with the team once I learned their history, what they, who they were, from what they built to who they are now. So it was just fun to be able to choose my own team and not being forced on. But
I understand what that's like.
That's why I still have a little soft spot for the Dolphins as well, because it was so forced on me.
Yeah.
To the point to where all you heard was Marino this, Mark that, Marino this. And then on top of that, come on, man, Ace Ventura was out. And the Dolphins was featured in that movie. You were forced to love him as a kid.
He was a fan of Finkel.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Louis Einhorn is Ray Finkel. Ray Finkel.
Chris, what about you? What about you? I want to hear your story again.
All right. So for me, like I grew up, and I still to this day, my whole life, I'll be 37 at the end of November. So I've always grown up within 15 minutes of Philadelphia. I've lived in South Jersey my whole life. And, I understand where Mav's coming from. I come from a family that grew up in Northeast Philadelphia and again moved to South Jersey when I was born in '86. And it was just all Eagles. And you have to remember and you guys know, you were all around the same age, is that the Eagles, whatever area you're in, you're going to be exposed to that team on television every single week. And, I remember my first football memory isn't the Niners. My first football memory is Randall Cunningham, because that was my dad's favorite player. And I didn't really care. I didn't really pay attention. I was a little bit too young when Cunningham was really in his prime. In that 88 to 90 season, I was like 3 or 4. So I wasn't really into football at that time, but I do remember vividly. It was October 18th, 1992. It was a 4:25 game in Candlestick. The Niners were at home against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm looking up everybody because I'm trying to recall everything, because I remember everything that happened in that game. And they were on at 4:00, so they came on after the Eagles were on that time. And all I remember vividly was watching, Ricky Waters, who is one of my favorite players of all time. And Ricky Waters scored that 8-yard touchdown. I was like, all right, cool. That dude's a beast. Like he looks like a guy that can juke and jive, but when he put that shoulder down, he'd run you to hell over. And then later in that game, Jerry Rice catches an 80-yard bomb from Steve Young. That's when it hit, because I found out, wow, like I'm left-handed, and there's Steve Young, and he throws that bomb to Rice. Then Waters runs for 2 more touchdowns. I'm like, oh my God, like these are like these dudes I'm actually paying attention to, and they're so dominant. And then later on in the game, Rice catches a 40-yard touchdown pass. Then he catches a 26-yard touchdown pass. I'm like, what the heck is going on right now? And I'll never forget, it was Young to Rice, and then everything changed after that.
Is that how you became a BYU fan as well?
Yeah, Steve Young. Yeah. Because in college wasn't really a big deal in my family. I mean, my dad, again, my dad's my best friend. You know, my parents had me at 19 and 17, and my parents have been married 38 years. So my dad's my best friend. I got to give my dad credit. He never, ever forced me to the Eagles. Every year for Christmas, if I asked for 49ers gear, he would somehow find a way to get me 49ers stuff. Like, he would never just buy me Eagles and like hope that I put it on. Like, he was always pretty supportive. So that's what really helped me stay a Niners fan. So yeah, it was young to Rice. Rice is my favorite pro athlete of all time. So, and it's not even close. Like when I met him like 2 years ago, like I couldn't even like feel my legs. And I'm like, what is going on with me right now? And the only time that I fell out of the Niners was twice. There's twice that I fell out of loving the Niners was in 95 when they let Waters walk. And of course he ends up with the Eagles. When they let Waters walk, that really hurt me. And then in 2000, when they didn't let Jerry Rice finish his career in San Francisco, I was real bitter for a long time.
But didn't Rice come back and retire a 49er?
I mean, he signed a one-day contract, but I mean, he retired it when he couldn't make it out of the practice squad in Denver. But so that was the only two times I was. And Chip Kelly, God, son of a bitch! Like that was the only other time where I like those three times are when like I was just so bitter about the organization. But that was really it. But yeah. But I'm with you, Mav, and I'll cut this short because I don't want to keep you guys. But like I remember going to school, man, and I would wear like my Niners gear. I was a fashion mogul. I would wear red on red. So I was nothing but fashion in like 1998, wearing red Niner sweatpants and a red Niner shirt. And I would get picked on so much. I would say, why are you not an Eagles fan? Blah, blah, blah. Eagles this, Eagles that. And especially during that Andy Reid era, when the Eagles were so dominant for so long, it was tough, man. But I understand where you're coming from, Mav, because my whole life it's just been, even today, like I am bombarded by Eagles fans. Like when I go to a bagel shop to get bagels for my family and I'm wearing a Niners hat, like even like these 17-year-old workers are saying, you have a lot of guts wearing that hat. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have a lot of, what are you going to do?
I really want to ask a true Eagles fan, how did they feel keep winning all these games, all this season? Like they have Andy Reid for what, like them to 20 years?
14 years.
14 years.
Yeah.
He put team and team after team after team together.
Mm-hmm.
And never won. He made it, but never won. How does a true Eagles fan felt about that?
So
for 14 years.
So I could just tell you, I mean, it's really mixed in Philadelphia with Andy Reid. Half love him, half don't like him at all. There's a lot that don't like him at all. So because they felt they should have won more than one with Andy. But look, it is what it is there. But the Eagles, I can't wait to play them, and I'm going to pray so hard to beat them because it's such a tribalistic fan base. It's a tribe. It's beyond anything. Like it's so hard to live within that fan base because they're unbearable. The team doesn't bother me. The fan base is brutal. They are awful. And,
I know you just feel like you just want to smack them, right?
Yeah, they all think they play for the team. They all think they contribute to the success of a team, and it's tribalism at its finest. And that's what I love about Niners fans, especially you guys, just nice dudes, and it's like it treats you like you're a family. You know what I mean? Whereas like here, my gosh, like you should have seen what it was like if you were a Nick Foles fan or a Carson Wentz fan. They almost wanted to fight each other. Like if you were a Nick Foles guy, you automatically couldn't like Carson Wentz. So all right, well, let's fight. So it's just so terrible. But yeah. So that my story with the Niners goes back far, and it's had a lot of ups and downs, but it's so much fun since the Shanahan era. it's been just so much fun, and I hope that continues for a long time.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Close us out, Chris.
All right, boys. So all of us agree it's going to be a blowout victory for the 49ers here, week 4, Sunday afternoon. Gets the Arizona Cardinals, and then it's on to Sunday night prime time, week 5 against the Dallas Cowboys at Levi Stadium. We might not ever see Mike again, but let's ride him there as best as we can. But I want to thank you all so much, Ron, Mike, Drew, Mav. Looking forward, man, to post game on Sunday night. So this has been the Niners Lounge, and we'll catch you guys down the road. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys post game Sunday night. See y'all.
Peace.